Hey, thanks for watching this. Today I'm just going to take a few moments to speak around this thought, a culture of improvement. Here at Christian Life Church, we value excellence and we want everything that we do to be excellent. That's not perfect, but that's actually doing the very best that we can do with what we have. But to do that, we have to have this culture of improvement. And a great example of this is a guy called Daniel in the Bible. He's living in a second-rate world. He's living in a world he doesn't kind of really like, but yet he has this culture of improvement, this culture of excellence. He even gets said that he has this excellent spirit. Listen to this verse, Daniel 6 and verse 3. It says this, "Then this Daniel became distinguished above all the other presidents and satraps, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king planned to set him over the whole kingdom." This is a king who actually, Daniel's not even one of his people, and yet he's going to be set over the whole kingdom because he has this excellent spirit. And so I just want to take a few moments to think about actually having an excellent spirit means we have this culture of improvement, this culture of improving what we do. I heard this recently: if you're not getting better, you're probably getting worse. And as I thought about it, I thought that's so true, that actually even when we live in maintenance mode or we live in it will do mode, we actually end up getting worse. That all of a sudden we don't have this culture of improvement, this culture of pushing things forward, this culture of seeing the best in what we can do and going to new levels and going further than we've ever gone before. And I believe that that's the thing that God has called us to do, to not just live in the today, to not just live in maintenance mode, to not just live in this, but we should have an excellent spirit, a culture of improving ourselves so that actually we can see incredible things happen. So here are 5 thoughts, just 5 thoughts we can adopt to help make sure we keep getting better. The first one is this: realize you aren't the best. It's quite tough for me because I want to be the best. I want to be the best. But actually, for me to be the best, for me to go beyond where I ever have been before, then I have to realize I'm not the best, because there's someone, somewhere, somehow doing it better than me. And as I come to this realization that I'm not the best, then actually that frees me up to learn from others around me. It frees me up to actually learn and adopt their methods, learn and adopt what they're doing, learn and adopt what's been a success for them. That actually I realize that I can improve by actually realizing I'm not the best. And so someone has been doing what you're doing longer and better than you. So you need to get around people and you need to find those people who are doing those things better, learn from them, take their ideas, steal them, and even make them better. But begin to do that. Realize you're not the best, because we need to find out room to get better. We need to find the room to get better, because this is the first step toward improvement. It's the first step toward improvement, knowing that you actually have the room to get better. If we think we're the best, then actually we're going to just get worse at what we do, because we're not going to be improving what we're doing. But actually today we can realize, no, I've got room for improvement in my life. You see, the only sure barrier to knowledge is thinking you already have it. You see, I want to gain knowledge, I want to get better, I want to do those things. But if I think I've got everything, if I think I've got all the answers, then that's the only barrier actually that stops me from moving forward. The second thought is this: don't be defensive. Don't be defensive. Growing up, and I was a big kind of defensive. I would fight, and I would kind of argue in terms of being defensive when authority came against me. But actually I've come to realize, if I want to keep getting better, and if you want to keep getting better, then you have to be open to correction. You see, I realize that actually for me to be open to correction helps me to improve so much faster, so much quicker than it would in any other environment. And so defensive people end up putting up walls and they feel the need to prove themselves. But actually, when it comes to learning, walls only keep information out. Walls only keep that information out. But actually, we need to stay teachable and stay humble enough that we'll accept correction. You see, we have to realize we're not here to prove ourselves, we're here to improve ourselves. We're here to improve ourselves. An example of this is I play semi-professional football, and I play with some great players and some great lads, and we got some great young players who I play with. But the only way that they will get better is actually if they take correction, if they begin to take on board what coaches say, even if at times they don't agree with it. I've had to do this so many times in my life and had to do that and realized that I've improved more when I've not been defensive, but I've stayed teachable and I've surrounded myself with people who know and care enough to help me. And so I don't want to be a defensive person, because defensive people don't end up improving but actually end up trying to prove themselves. But I want to always be improving myself. The third thought is this: commit to continual learning. Commit to continual learning. It's interesting, isn't it? There are a few things as invigorating as actually learning something new or learning something. Maybe we didn't think that when we were back in school and we were doing certain subjects, but here's the incredible thing: is the subjects we liked, it actually invigorated us to learn those things. And I think if you're feeling stale, then ask a question. If you're feeling stale, then read a blog post or listen to a YouTube video. You're doing a good job today. Well done. Watch a documentary. New information brings about new ideas. New information brings about new ideas. So when was the last time you learned something new? Maybe you need to just ask yourself that question after these few moments together. Maybe you need to ask yourself, when was the last time I learned something new? When was the last time I improved myself? When was the last time I did it? Because learning doesn't just happen. It's something we have to stay committed to. And if we stay committed to it, we're going to grow. And we have to stay committed, because then when we're committed, we will grow. And so my encouragement to you is be committed to continual learning. Be committed to that. The fourth idea is love your team and your leaders. Love your team and your leaders. There's much more to being a good leader than actually just accomplishing tasks. There's much more. Leadership is about influence, and so without other people, there's no leadership. Without others, there is no leadership. And so if we're going to lead well in our lives, we have to love the people we're leading. We have to love those around us, and love the people we're leading, but also an incredible encouragement to you today is actually that you need to love the people who are leading you as well. You need to love those who are leading you. You see, you can't dictate how much a person loves you, but you can dictate how much you love a person. And when you begin to love your team, then all of a sudden you begin to improve together. And when you begin to love your leader, you'll begin to improve as you follow their leadership more and more and more. And so I want to encourage you, learn to love the people around you better. It'll lead to improvement. It's this culture of improvement that actually we love people better. And the fifth idea, the last idea, is ask questions. It's kind of in the commit to continual learning, but I wanted to highlight this point, ask questions, because great leaders ask great questions. And actually, as we did this, I did this little talk at staff breakfast, and someone said, actually, no question is really a bad question. And I said, you've never sat with my wife, Debbie, during a movie. She asks questions that are bad questions about the movie. But they're true in a sense that actually there is no bad question. If you're not sure of something, ask a question, because it'll improve your knowledge. It'll improve those things. You know, every question is kind of an admission of point one, which you're saying, I realize I'm not the best, but I want to improve. You know, and you're saying, I don't know everything, but I want to improve. And there are people around us who have the information we need. There are people around us who have all the information we need. We just need to tap into that by asking questions. But so often we won't get that information because we're not willing to ask the question. So I want to encourage you, ask the questions. Ask questions. Have this culture of improvement by asking questions, because questions actually reveal what we value. They reveal what we value. So be intentional about the questions you ask as well. Be intentional about those questions. And questions reinforce behavior. Because when we ask about something, we're letting people know that matters to me. That matters to me. So as a leader, ask more questions than you give answers. Ask more questions than you give answers. So I want to encourage you. Just like Daniel has this excellent spirit, but I don't think this excellent spirit just came about, it just all of a sudden one day there's an excellent spirit, boom, he's got that. No, I think it came about having this culture of improvement in his life. And so I want to encourage us to have this excellent spirit. I believe we need to have this culture of improvement in our life. And the 5 ideas: realizing you aren't the best, not being defensive, committing to continual learning, loving your team and your leaders, and asking questions, I believe is the right pathway to take to have this culture of improvement. And let's decide together, all together, one and all, that actually we want to have this excellent spirit by actually improving ourselves. And we're not going to stay still and end up going backwards, but we're actually going to move forward and improve everything we do. Let's have this culture of improvement.